When you are working on a blueprint with your colleagues, you might want to store the blueprint in a handy format that you can easily share and edit. We now have a tool for that called Lush. If you go to the ing-experience-design.com website, you can find the item Lush in the top menu. In the sub-menu, you can find a link to Online Lush. You can now start using Lush. To understand best how Lush works, we will take a look at the Markdown first. If you click Toggle Markdown, you can see service, scenario, step, and two step definitions being defined, prefixed by the $sign. If you want to learn which keywords are available, you can click on About, scroll down to find the keywords in red. You can also click on Service Blueprinting in the top menu to learn more about Service Blueprinting in general. Inside the blueprint, you can use Markdown. Markdown is a so-called markup language, which can be used to create a generic form of documentation. If you Google Markdown cheat sheet, you will find this page with a handy overview of everything that's possible with Markdown. Later, when I will explain Git, you will see why Markdown comes in so handy while creating blueprints. Let's take a look at a few Markdown examples. Let's say you want to add a link to a step definition. We add a sentence. And when we want to create a link on the word link, we add brackets around it and parentheses around the URL. If we now click the Toggle Markdown button again, you will see that the link is part of the step definition. Another often used Markdown markup is the image Markdown. If you want to add an image to the step definition, we start with an exclamation point, two brackets, and we enclose the link with parentheses. If we now click on the Toggle Markdown, you will see the image pop up. And last but not least, we can add another digital blueprint sticky. Bear in mind, if you go to the About page or the Service Blueprinting page from the menu, you can find all the available keywords. Next, we will look at the Git Connect button. But before we do that, let me quickly explain what Git actually is. Git is a so-called version control system, which is often used in software development. One of the biggest benefits of Git is that you can see what somebody or yourself did in the past. You can always go a step back in time. In the show notes you can find a link with more information about Git. If we take a look at GitHub, which is a platform for Git, and we look in the Lush repository, we can find an example of a blueprint. If you look at the raw version, you can see the actual blueprint written in Markdown. If you take a step back and you click on the History button, you can see there have been 3 commits in total. For example, the first draft of the example blueprint, which we can view by clicking on the brackets. If we click on the raw version, you can see that the URL is different from the latest version for this image. Something we can double check by going back and clicking on the brackets behind the current version and look at the raw version again. As you can see, a different URL. To easily load blueprints from GitHub or GitLab, we added the Git Connect button. We already filled it with some information which you are free to change. The pre-filled information will lead you to our example blueprint that I just showed you. In the menu, you can select a user for GitHub and a project for GitLab, a repository, a branch, and a directory. If you click the Load button, you can see all available blueprints. If you now click on the file, you will directly see the blueprint. And of course, when you click the Toggle button again, you can start to edit the Markdown. So let's say we want to add another actor. I can type the $sign and the actor keyword and the name. If you now toggle back, you can see that Bob got added to the first step. If you want to load a markdown that you have stored on your computer or that somebody emailed to you, you can simply click on the Load Markdown button, or you can drag and drop a Blueprint Markdown file onto the canvas. When you are done editing or creating your Markdown and you want to save it or commit it to Git, you can click the Download as Markdown button. You can also click the Download as Image button to create a visual representation of your blueprint, which you can save on your machine, send in an email, or add to a presentation.